Taman Park pressed his face against the transport shuttle window and watched the massive station grow larger. The Galactic Defense Academy looked like a giant metal ring floating in space. Lights blinked along its surface like stars. His heart beat faster. This was really happening. He was the first human to ever attend the academy. The first of his kind to train alongside aliens from across the galaxy. No pressure, he thought to himself, and almost laughed. His hands were shaking. The shuttle docked with a soft thump. Taman grabbed his bag and joined the line of passengers heading to the exit. Most of them were much taller than him. One creature had blue skin and 4 arms. Another looked like it was made of crystal. A third had scales and a tail that swished back and forth. Taman was just a regular human. Brown hair, brown eyes, average height by Earth standards. Nothing special. He wondered if he had made a mistake coming here. A woman in a crisp military uniform waited for him at the gate. She was human too, and Taman felt relief wash over him. She had sharp eyes and stood like a soldier. "Cadet Park?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," Taman said, straightening his back. "I'm Lieutenant Yuna Kim. I'll be your liaison officer while you're here." She shook his hand firmly. "Welcome to the academy. How was your trip?" "Long," Taman admitted. "But exciting," Yuna smiled slightly. "Walk with me. We need to talk before orientation." They walked through wide corridors filled with alien cadets. Taman noticed the stares. Some looked curious. Others looked dismissive. He heard whispers but could not understand the languages. "They're talking about you," Yuna said quietly. "Most species here have been spacefaring for thousands of years. Humanity joined the Galactic Union only 23 years ago. You're new, unknown. That makes them nervous." "What do they think of us?" Taman asked. Yuna paused at a window overlooking the training grounds. "They think we're weak. Humans look small compared to most species. We don't have natural armor or extra limbs or enhanced senses. They call us Deathworlders because Earth is classified as a dangerous planet. But they don't really understand what that means yet." "So I need to prove them wrong," Taman said. "Just be yourself," Yuna replied. "Do your best. That's all anyone can ask." She looked at him seriously. "But remember, you're not just representing yourself here. Every human back on Earth is watching." "No pressure, right?" Taman managed a weak smile. "Right, no pressure." Orientation took place in a massive auditorium. Hundreds of cadets from dozens of different species filled the seats. Taman sat near the back and tried to make himself invisible. It did not work. He could feel eyes on him. A huge insect-like creature walked onto the stage. It had 4 arms and stood 3 meters tall. Its exoskeleton gleamed under the lights. When it spoke, its voice was surprisingly clear. "I am Instructor Velthrix," the creature said. "For the next year, I will be your senior combat instructor. You are here because you are the best your worlds have to offer. But being the best at home means nothing here. Here you must prove yourself against the best from across the galaxy." Velthrix's eyes seemed to find Taman in the crowd. "Some of you are new to the galactic community. Some species have only recently joined us. Do not expect special treatment. In the Defense Force, we all meet the same standards. There are no exceptions." After orientation, the cadets were divided into training groups. Taman found himself assigned to Group 7. He met his fellow cadets in the equipment room. A female alien with blue-green skin and webbed fingers looked him up and down. She was muscular and moved with confidence. Her name tag read Lyrics. "So you're the human everyone is talking about," she said. Her voice had a musical quality. "You look so small. Are all humans like you?" "Pretty much," Taman replied evenly. She made a sound that might have been a laugh. "This should be interesting." Another cadet approached. This one looked like he was made of clear crystal with light moving inside his body. He extended a hand to Taman. "I am Horvath," he said. His voice sounded like wind chimes. "I have never met a human before. I am pleased to meet you." "Taman," he replied, shaking the crystal hand carefully. It was warm to the touch. "Nice to meet you too." "Enough talking," Instructor Velthrix called out. "First exercise. You need to move the training equipment from storage to the field. Work in teams of 3. The weight plates are standard issue, 60 kilograms each in station gravity. Move them carefully. They are magnetic and expensive." Taman watched as other teams approached the weight plates. They were large circular discs about 1 meter across. Lyrics and 2 other cadets grabbed one together. Even with 3 of them, they struggled. Their muscles strained as they shuffled forward slowly. The Corthian cadets, the ones with 4 arms like Instructor Velthrix, did better. They worked in pairs and moved steadily. But even they looked like they were working hard. Horvath managed his plate with 2 other small cadets. They moved very slowly, stopping every few meters to rest. When it was Taemin's turn, 2 small aliens from low-gravity worlds joined him. They looked nervous. One of them was barely a meter tall. "We should be careful," the small alien said in broken galactic standard. "Very heavy." "We go slow." "Sure," Taemin agreed. He walked to their assigned plate and bent down to look at it. 60 kilograms. That was about 130 pounds. He lifted weights heavier than that back home as part of his regular workout. Without thinking much about it, Taemin gripped the handles on the side of the plate. He straightened his legs and lifted. The plate came up easily. He held it in one hand, using his other hand to balance it slightly. "Okay, where do we need to take this?" he asked, looking at his teammates. His teammates stared at him. Their mouths hung open. Around the training field, all activity had stopped. Everyone was staring at him now. Complete silence filled the space. Taemin looked around, confused. "What, did I do something wrong?" Instructor Velthrix walked over slowly. His mandibles clicked together, which Taemin would later learn meant surprise or shock. "Cadet Park," Velthrix said carefully. "You are holding that plate with one hand." "Yes, sir," Taemin replied. He still did not understand the problem. "Should I put it down?" "That weight requires 3 cadets to move safely," Velthrix continued. "Most species need at least 2. Even Corthians, who have 4 arms and considerable strength, work in pairs." Taemin looked at the plate in his hand. It really was not that heavy. Then he looked at Lyrix, who had been struggling with 2 other cadets. She was staring at him with an expression he could not read. Shock, maybe, or anger. "It's not that heavy, sir," Taemin said honestly. "I mean, it has some weight to it, but it's manageable." One of his small teammates made a choking sound. Velthrix clicked his mandibles again. "Proceed to the training field, Cadet Park. We will discuss this later." Taemin carried the plate across the field. His teammates followed behind him, whispering to each other. He could feel hundreds of eyes watching his every step. From the observation deck above, Lieutenant Yuna watched with a small smile on her face. She had known this moment would come eventually. Humans had evolved on Earth, where gravity was 1.3 times the galactic standard. What felt heavy to most species felt normal to humans. But knowing it intellectually and seeing it demonstrated were 2 different things. She pulled out her communicator and sent a message to Colonel Daehyun at the human outpost. The message was simple. "It has begun." Back on the training field, Taemin set down the weight plate in the designated area. Other cadets were still staring at him. Lyrix walked over, her expression unreadable. "That was lucky," she said. "The gravity calibration in your section must have been off." Horvath approached as well. Unlike Lyrix, he looked fascinated rather than defensive. "Is this normal for humans?" he asked. "This strength?" Taemin shrugged uncomfortably. "I guess. I mean, I'm not even that strong compared to some people back home. I just work out regularly." "Fascinating," Horvath said. "Impossible," Lyrix muttered and walked away. That evening, Taemin sat alone in the cadet mess hall. He had chosen a table in the corner, hoping to avoid attention. It did not work. He could hear whispers and see cadets pointing at him. Horvath sat down across from him without asking. "You need to eat," Horvath said, gesturing at Taemin's untouched food. "Not very hungry," Taemin admitted. "They will adjust," Horvath said. "My people, the Gorvanians, are silicon-based. When we first joined the academy, others thought we were strange too. Now it is normal. Give them time." "Thanks," Taemin said. He appreciated the kindness. In the command center high above the academy, Admiral Cressix reviewed the day's reports on her data pad. She was a tall, elegant being with silver skin and 3 eyes. As the head of the Galactic Defense Force, very little surprised her anymore. But Instructor Velthrix's report made her pause. She read it twice. Human cadet displays physical strength exceeding all database predictions. Lifted 60-kilogram weight plate single-handedly with apparent ease. Recommend further assessment. Query: Are all humans capable of such feats? Admiral Cressix tapped her long fingers on her desk. Humanity had been very careful about sharing information about their military capabilities. They provided the minimum required for Union membership, but kept most details classified. Earth claimed it was for security reasons. Now the Admiral wondered what else humans might be hiding. She initiated a classified inquiry request to Earth's military command. If one human cadet could do this, what could an entire human military force? The cafeteria buzzed with conversation at breakfast, but the talk was all about one thing. The human. Timon tried to ignore the stares as he carried his tray to an empty table. Word of the weight plate incident had spread through the entire academy overnight. They are saying the gravity was broken in your section, Horvath said, sitting down next to him. Lyrax is telling everyone it was a malfunction. Timon sighed. The gravity was fine. I just lifted it. I believe you, Horvath said. His crystal body sparkled in the morning light. I am curious about your world. What is Earth like? Before Timon could answer, Instructor Veltrix's voice boomed across the cafeteria. All cadets report to Briefing Room 7 in 20 minutes, full gear. Today we run the gauntlet, excited murmurs filled the room. Horvath's light dimmed slightly, which Timon had learned meant worry. What is the gauntlet? Timon asked. The worst test of the first month, Horvath replied. 20 kilometers through the wilderness simulation deck. Obstacles, water crossings, simulated enemy fire, and a mountain climb at the end. Most cadets take 6 to 8 hours. Some do not finish at all. In the briefing room, Instructor Veltrix displayed a holographic map of the course. It looked brutal. Climbing walls, rivers, mud pits, steep hills, and finally a mountain that seemed to go straight up. The Corthian squad holds the academy record, Veltrix said, gesturing to a group of four-armed cadets who looked proud. 4 hours and 22 minutes. That is your target. Beat it if you can. Lyrax sat in the front row, her blue-green skin gleaming. She raised her hand. Yes, Cadet Lyrax? Veltrix asked. Will we have individual times recorded? I would like to know my exact performance. Every cadet's time will be recorded, Veltrix confirmed. But remember, this is not just about speed. It is about endurance. Pace yourselves. Lieutenant Yuna found Timon before the race began. She pulled him aside away from the other cadets. Listen carefully, she said quietly. Endurance is where humans really shine. Our species evolved as persistence hunters. We chased prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. But you need to be smart about this. You want me to hold back? Timon asked. I want you to be mindful, Yuna corrected. People are already talking. If you show off too much, resentment builds. Just do your best. That will be impressive enough, Timon nodded. He understood. Being too good too fast would make him more enemies than friends. The cadets lined up at the starting point. Timon positioned himself in the middle of the pack. Lyrax was at the front, bouncing on her feet, ready to sprint. The Corthian squad looked confident and strong. A horn blared. The race began. Lyrax shot forward like a bullet. Her squad followed close behind. The Corthians moved as a unit, powerful and coordinated. Other cadets scattered across the course at various speeds. Timon started at a steady jog. Not fast, not slow. Just consistent. Back home, he had run cross-country in school. He knew the secret was not to burn out early. Horvath kept pace with him for the first kilometer, but his crystal body was not built for running. He slowed down gradually, falling behind. Go ahead, Horvath called. I will maintain my own pace. The first major obstacle was a climbing wall 10 meters high. Lyrax scaled it quickly, using her natural strength and flexibility. The Corthians used their multiple arms to climb efficiently. Timon waited his turn, then climbed steadily. His muscles barely strained. The wall was not particularly difficult. By the 5-kilometer mark, things started changing. The initial sprint had taken its toll on many cadets. Timon saw several sitting on the ground, breathing hard. Medical teams were standing by for those who could not continue. Lyrax was still in the lead, but her pace had slowed. She was no longer sprinting. The Corthian squad maintained their rhythm, but Timon noticed their breathing had become heavier. Timon kept his same steady pace. His breathing was easy and controlled. He felt good. This was just a nice morning run. At the 8-kilometer mark, the river crossing appeared. The water was chest-deep and cold. Simulated currents pushed against the cadets as they waded across. Several struggled and had to be helped by instructors. Lyrax made it across but emerged shivering. Her species was adapted for warm oceans, not cold rivers. The Corthians did better, their exoskeletons protecting them from the temperature. Timon crossed steadily. The cold water felt refreshing. On the other side, he shook off the water and continued running. His pace never changed. By the 12-kilometer mark, Timon had passed most of the field. Only Lyrax and the Corthian squad were still ahead. but they were slowing down noticeably now. Lyrix was stumbling occasionally. The Corthians were taking more frequent breaks. Taman passed Lyrix at kilometer 15. She was walking now, her chest heaving with effort. Her blue-green skin had turned a paler shade. He slowed slightly. "You okay?" She glared at him. "How are you not tired?" "I am a little tired," Taman admitted. That was true. He could feel his muscles working. But it was a comfortable feeling, not exhaustion. He pulled a protein bar from his pack and offered it to her. She stared at it like he had offered her gold. "How do you have energy to carry extra food?" she asked weakly. "It does not weigh much," Taman said with a shrug. She took the bar with shaking hands. Taman continued running. At kilometer 18, the mountain began. It rose at a steep angle, the path covered in loose rocks. The atmosphere simulation made the air thinner, harder to breathe. It was designed to push cadets to their absolute limits. The Corthian squad was on the mountain, but they were struggling badly. Their 4 arms were an advantage for strength, but they needed more oxygen to power all those limbs. In the thin air, they were suffering. Taman passed them steadily. One of the Corthians looked at him with what might have been despair or respect. Taman could not tell which. The climb was hard, he would not pretend otherwise. His legs burned and his lungs worked harder. But it was the kind of hard he was used to. Earth had plenty of mountains. He had hiked them with his father as a child. He reached the summit and touched the marker beacon. His timer stopped. 3 hours, 47 minutes, 12 seconds. A new academy record. By 35 minutes, Instructor Velthrix was at the finish line with medical teams and recording equipment. His mandibles clicked rapidly when he saw Taman. "Cadet Park, you need to report to medical immediately," Velthrix said. "I feel fine, sir," Taman replied honestly. He was breathing a bit hard, but nothing serious. "What should I do now?" Velthrix stared at him. Several other instructors were staring too. "You just ran 20 kilometers through hostile terrain and climbed a mountain in atmosphere that simulates high altitude," Velthrix said slowly. "And you want to know what to do next?" "Yes, sir." "Is there an afternoon training session?" One of the instructors made a sound that might have been a laugh or a choke. Over the next 2 hours, exhausted cadets staggered across the finish line. Many collapsed immediately. Medical teams rushed to help those with muscle cramps, dehydration, and exhaustion. Some had to be carried on stretchers. Taman helped carry the stretchers. The medical personnel looked at him strangely, but they needed the help. He carried 3 cadets down the mountain to the medical station. Each cadet weighed at least 60 kilograms. He made 3 trips without stopping. Horvath finished after 5 hours. He was exhausted but satisfied. When he saw Taman, his internal light flickered with surprise. "You are still walking around?" Horvath asked. "How?" "I have been helping the medical team," Taman explained. "After running the gauntlet?" Horvath's light flickered again. "You are helping others after completing the most difficult endurance test at the academy?" "They needed help," Taman said simply. Lyrix crossed the finish line after 6 hours and 15 minutes. She immediately sat down and did not move. Her muscles were cramping badly. A medical officer brought her water and salt tablets. She saw Taman standing nearby, looking fresh. Anger flashed in her eyes, but there was something else too. Maybe respect, maybe fear. She was not sure. That evening, Taman sat with Horvath in the mess hall. The cafeteria was quieter than usual. Most cadets were too tired to talk. "I want to understand," Horvath said. "How do humans do this? The strength yesterday, the endurance today. What makes you different?" Taman thought about how to explain. "Earth has higher gravity than most worlds," he started. "About 1.3 times the standard. So everything we do on Earth, we do it while carrying extra weight. Our muscles develop stronger just from living our daily lives." "That explains the strength," Horvath said. "But the endurance?" "Our ancestors were hunters," Taman continued. "But not like most predators. We could not run as fast as our prey. We could not hide as well. So we developed a different strategy. We would chase an animal for hours, sometimes days, until it collapsed from exhaustion. Then we would catch it. We evolved to run forever." Horvath was silent for a moment, processing this. "Your species evolved specifically to outlast other creatures?" he asked finally. "More or less," Taman confirmed. "We are not the fastest. We are not the strongest. But we can keep going when others cannot." "Terrifying," Horvath said softly, "and impressive." Across the cafeteria, Lyric sat with her squad. They were talking in low voices, occasionally glancing at Taman. She had trained her entire living. 3 weeks had passed since the gauntlet run. Taman had become something of a celebrity at the academy, though not always in a good way. Some cadets sought him out for advice. Others avoided him entirely. The whispers never stopped. Today was different, though. Today someone new was arriving. Taman waited at the docking bay with Lieutenant Yuna. The transport shuttle from Earth was landing. Another human cadet was on board. His name is Minho Lee, Yuna said. Former competitive shooter on Earth. Very skilled with weapons. Also very friendly. You two are quite different. Is that a problem? Taman asked. No, Yuna smiled. It's perfect. It shows that humans are individuals, not all the same. That is important. The shuttle door opened. A young man stepped out, grinning widely. He had an easy confidence about him that Taman envied. Minho spotted them and waved enthusiastically. You must be Taman, Minho said, shaking his hand firmly. I have heard so much about you. The weight plate legend. The Gauntlet King. They are calling you the superhuman back on Earth. Taman felt his face heat up. I just did my best. And scared the entire galaxy in the process, Minho laughed. This is going to be fun. That afternoon, Instructor Velthrix gathered all cadets in the main training hall. The room was massive, with high ceilings and walls covered in equipment. Today we begin weapons training, Velthrix announced. You will be using neural interface weapons. NIWs connect directly to your nervous system for enhanced accuracy and response time. They are the standard armament of the Defense Force. He held up a sleek device that looked like a rifle but glowed with blue energy. The weapon reads your intentions and fires accordingly. Accuracy depends on your natural reflexes and pattern recognition. Some species have natural advantages here. Velthrix gestured to Lyrics and her squad. The Silthians looked pleased with themselves. The Silthians have some of the fastest reflexes in known space, Velthrix continued. Their evolution in deep oceans avoiding fast predators gave them exceptional reaction times. They traditionally excel at NIW training. Lyric sat up straighter, smiling slightly. This was her strength. Finally, something where she would definitely beat the humans. The first exercise was a targeting course. Holographic enemies would appear randomly, and cadets had to identify and engage them. 50 targets total. Speed and accuracy both mattered. Lyrics went first. She moved through the course like water flowing downhill. Smooth, fast, precise. Her shots hit 47 out of 50 targets. Her average reaction time was 0.08 seconds. The other cadets applauded. Excellent work, Cadet Lyrics, Velthrix said. That is the performance I expect from top cadets. Other cadets took their turns. Most scored between 30 and 40 hits. Reaction times ranged from 0.10 to 0.15 seconds. The Korthians did well with their multiple arms, allowing for quick repositioning. Horvath managed 35 hits, but his reaction time was slower, around 0.18 seconds. His crystalline structure was not built for speed. Cadet Park, Velthrix called. You are next. Taman picked up the NIW. It felt strange in his hands, almost alive. The weapon linked to his nervous system, and suddenly he could feel it as an extension of himself. But something was off. The connection felt slow, like there was a delay between his thoughts and the weapon's response. The course started. Holograms appeared. Taman engaged them, trying to work with the weapon's odd timing. He completed the course and looked at his score. Out of 50 targets. Average reaction time, 0.04 seconds. The room went quiet. Lyric stared at the display like it had insulted her personally. That cannot be right, she said. Check the calibration. Velthrix ran diagnostics on the weapon and the scoring system. Everything checked out perfectly. The results are accurate, he said slowly. Cadet Park, how did the weapon feel to you? Honestly, sir, it felt slow, Taman admitted. Like there was a delay. I had to wait for it to catch up to what I wanted to do. Several instructors looked at each other. The NIW was designed for galactic standard reflexes. If a human thought it was slow, that meant human reflexes were significantly faster than the galactic norm. Cadet Lee, Velthrix said. Please take your turn. Minho stepped up with his characteristic confidence. He picked up the NIW, tested its weight, and nodded to himself. Ready when you are, sir, he said cheerfully. The course started. Minho moved differently than Taman. Where Taman had been methodical, Minho was fluid and almost playful. His movements looked casual, but every shot found its target. His competitive shooting background was obvious. Final score, 49 out of 50 targets. Average reaction time, 0.039 seconds. Minho grinned. Nice weapon. A bit sluggish on the neural link, but not bad. Lyric stood up and walked out of the training hall without a word. Her squad mates followed, looking uncomfortable. That evening, Taman found Lyric sitting alone near one of the observation windows. She was staring out at the stars. "You are angry," Taman said, sitting down nearby but not too close. "I am frustrated," she corrected. "My entire life I have been the fastest. The best at this. Speed is what my people are known for, and then you show up and make it look easy." "It is not easy," Taman said. "I work hard too." "But you are naturally better," Lyric said. "That is what hurts. I can train forever and I will never be as fast as you, because you are human and I am not." Taman thought about this. She was right in a way, but it was not the whole truth. "You can do things I cannot do," he said finally. "You can hold your breath for hours underwater. You can see in the dark better than any human. Your flexibility is incredible. Everyone has different strengths." "Those things do not matter here," Lyric said bitterly. "They might," Taman replied. "Someday. You never know what skills will be needed." Lyric was quiet for a long moment. "Can I ask you something?" she said finally. "Sure. Why are humans so good at combat? The strength, the endurance, the reflexes. Your planet is classified as dangerous, but I thought that meant the environment was harsh. Now I wonder if it means humans are dangerous." Taman considered his answer carefully. "Earth is harsh," he said. "High gravity, extreme weather, dangerous predators, but humans were predators too. We evolved to hunt, to track prey, to throw spears accurately at moving targets. Our eyes face forward for depth perception. Our brains are wired to predict movement and recognize patterns. We were designed by evolution to be hunters." "So you are a race of predators," Lyric said quietly. "That explains much." "We were," Taman corrected. Past tense. "Humans are not just our biology. We chose to be more than hunters. We build civilizations. We create art. We help others. Being capable of violence is not the same as choosing violence." Lyric looked at him with new eyes. "You are wise for being so young," she said. "I think I have been unfair to you. You did not ask to be better at these things. You just are. Will you teach me?" she asked suddenly. "Teach you what?" "How to fight like a human. How to think like a predator. If I cannot be naturally as good as you, maybe I can learn to be better than I am." Taman smiled. This was the first time any non-human cadet had asked him for help as a peer, not as a curiosity. "I can try," he said, "but you have to teach me about Silthian combat styles too." "Fair trade?" Lyric smiled for the first time in weeks. "Fair trade," she agreed. The next day, the major combat simulation was announced. It would be a tactical scenario where squads had to survive against adaptive AI drones. Most squads lasted about 15 minutes before being eliminated. Taman was assigned to a squad with Horvath, a small nervous cadet named Kipra, and to everyone's surprise, Lyric. She had requested the assignment specifically. Minho was placed with a different squad to prevent human grouping. The simulation dropped them into an urban environment. Buildings provided cover but also created ambush points. "The drones could be anywhere. Standard sweep pattern," Lyric said, taking command. "Horvath, watch our left. Kipra, stay center and monitor sensors. Taman, take rear guard." They moved through the streets carefully. 5 minutes passed, then 10. The drones were learning their patterns, waiting for the right moment to strike. At minute 12, the attack came. Drones emerged from 3 directions simultaneously. Standard tactics would have been to find cover and return fire, but Taman did something different. He fired before the drones were fully visible, hitting them as they emerged from cover. His brain had processed their movement patterns and predicted their positions. It was pure instinct, the result of millions of years of evolution creating humans who could predict where prey would run. 3 drones down in 3 seconds. Lyric watched in amazement. She had never seen anyone shoot like that, not predicting where the target was but where it would be. The squad adapted their tactics. With Taman reading enemy movements and Lyric's natural speed, they became frighteningly effective. Horvath provided steady covering fire while Kipra coordinated their movements. 20 minutes passed. Then 30. Their squad was still active. The drones increased in number and difficulty, but they adapted faster. At minute 34, the simulation deployed a final wave designed for squads twice their size. 20 drones attacked from all directions. Horvath went down first, his shield overloaded. Keeper lasted another minute before being eliminated. Lyrics fought brilliantly but was overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Taman was alone. 12 drones remained. He fell back into a narrow alley where they could not surround him. His NIW flashed continuously as he engaged target after target. His reaction time was faster than the drones could process. 11 Doctor, the emergency alarm woke Taman at 300 station time. All cadets were ordered to report to the main briefing hall immediately. Something serious was happening. The hall filled quickly with sleepy, confused cadets. Instructor Velthric stood at the front with Admiral Cressix beside him. The Admiral's presence meant this was not a drill. "Listen carefully," the Admiral said. Her 3 eyes swept across the room. 2 hours ago, pirates seized a civilian transport near the outer rim. 300 passengers are held hostage, including children. The pirates are hiding in an asteroid field where our capital ships cannot maneuver safely. "We need a boarding team." Murmurs filled the hall. This was real. This was not training. "We are assembling a mixed squad," the Admiral continued. "Experienced officers will lead, but we need additional personnel. Selected advanced cadets will support this operation. Consider it a field training opportunity." She read names from a datapad. Taman heard his name. Then Minho's. Then Lyrix's. Horvath's. 10 cadets total, mixed species. Selected cadets. Gear up and report to docking bay 3 in 30 minutes. Dismissed. In the locker room, Taman pulled on his combat gear with shaking hands. He had trained for combat, but this was different. Real bullets. Real danger. Real lives at stake. "You scared?" Minho asked, suiting up beside him. "Terrified," Taman admitted. "Good," Minho said. "Fear keeps you sharp. My instructor back on Earth always said the day you stop being afraid is the day you get careless." Lieutenant Yuna found them before they boarded the ship. Her face was tight with worry. "I argued against sending you," she said, but the Admiral insisted. "She wants to see how humans perform in real combat conditions." "We will be fine," Taman said, trying to sound confident. "Follow orders. Stay with your squad. Come back alive." Yuna gripped both their shoulders. "That is an order from your liaison officer." The assault carrier Stalwart Resolution was cramped and functional. Nothing fancy. Just a ship designed to deliver soldiers into danger. The squad gathered in the briefing room. Commander Thess, a veteran Korthian officer with scarred exoskeleton, stood at the front. He was massive even for his species, and his forearms moved with precise military efficiency. "Our objective is simple," he said. "Breach through a secondary access point while the main force creates a diversion. Reach the passenger bay where hostages are held. Secure the hostages and eliminate hostile threats." "Questions?" "What species are the pirates?" Lyrix asked. "Vakros mercenaries," Commander Thess replied. "Known for brutality. They will not hesitate to kill hostages if cornered. We must be precise and fast." The journey to the asteroid field took 3 hours. Taman tried to sleep but could not. He checked his equipment for the 10th time. NIW fully charged. Shield generator operational. Medical kit secure. Everything ready. Minho sat across from him, eyes closed, breathing slowly. He looked calm, but Taman noticed his fingers tapping against his leg. A nervous habit? Lyrix paced back and forth, unable to sit still. Horvath stood perfectly motionless, his crystalline form dimmed to save energy. 5 minutes to deployment, the ship computer announced. The squad lined up at the airlock. Commander Thess led, followed by 2 experienced soldiers, then the cadets. Taman was fourth in line. The airlock opened. They jumped across the gap between ships, magnetic boots locking onto the station hull. Cutting torches opened a hole in the outer plating. They entered. The station interior was dark and maze-like. Maintenance tunnels branched in every direction. Commander Thess led them through confidently, following a pre-planned route. Everything was going according to plan. Then the ambush happened. Pirates emerged from side corridors, weapons blazing. They had known about the secondary breach point. The trap had been set perfectly. Commander Thess took 3 hits immediately, his shields failing. He went down hard, one arm badly damaged. The 2 experienced soldiers returned fire but were pinned behind inadequate cover. The cadets were trapped in the middle of the kill zone. "Fall back," one of the soldiers shouted, but there was nowhere to fall back to. Pirates blocked their retreat route. They were completely surrounded. Taemin's mind went into overdrive. He analyzed the situation in seconds. 3 pirate positions, 1 to the right in a doorway, 2 to the left behind cargo containers. The right position had a single shooter. If he could eliminate that position, they could have a flanking angle. There was a maintenance shaft near the right position, too small for the large Vecros pirates to follow. But a human could fit. "Cover me," Taemin said to Minho. "What are you doing?" Minho demanded. "Trust me," Taemin replied. He moved. Enemy fire tracked toward him, but he was already sliding, weaving, using his body's flexibility and smaller size. Bullets sparked off the walls behind him. His shield absorbed 2 hits but held. He reached the shaft, pried open the access panel with raw strength that bent the metal, and squeezed inside. The shaft was dark and cramped, but he could move through it. 90 seconds of crawling through darkness. He counted junctions following the mental map he had built. Then he found the exit point. He emerged behind the right pirate position. 3 Vecros mercenaries had their attention focused forward, shooting at his squad. They never saw him coming. 3 shots, 3 targets down. Taemin's human reflexes meant they could not react in time. The pressure on the squad eased immediately. Minho seized the moment, leading suppressing fire against the left positions. Lyrix dragged Commander Thess to safety, applying medical sealant to his wounds with steady hands despite the danger. Taemin circled through the maintenance system again, emerging at a different angle. The pirates were confused now, unable to track where attacks were coming from. Human mobility and adaptability were turning the ambush around. The left positions fell quickly once they lost their tactical advantage. The squad regrouped, breathing hard but alive. "Commander needs evacuation," Lyrix reported. Commander Thess grabbed her arm with his good hand. "Negative," he growled through pain. "Mission continues. Cadet Park, you have command." "Sir, I am just a cadet," Taemin protested. "You just saved this squad. You can lead it." "That is an order, cadet." They left Commander Thess with 1 soldier to guard him and wait for medical evacuation. The remaining squad, now led by Taemin, pushed forward. 2 more ambushes waited between them and the hostage bay. But with human tactical thinking guiding them, the squad adapted to each threat. Minho's shooting skills kept enemies pinned. Lyrix's speed allowed for quick flanking movements. Horvath provided steady covering fire. They worked as a unit, each member's strengths covering another's weaknesses. Human leadership had created something cohesive from a mixed species squad. They reached the hostage bay. Through the door window, Taemin counted 5 pirates with weapons pointed at cowering civilians. Men, women, children from various species huddled together in fear. The lead pirate, a massive Vecros with scars covering his face, shouted at his translator, "We know you are out there. We want safe passage off this station or hostages die. You have 5 minutes." Minho moved up beside Taemin. They looked at each other. No words needed. They had trained together, fought together. They knew what the other was thinking. Lyrix saw something pass between the 2 humans. An understanding that transcended language. She realized she was about to witness something extraordinary. "On my mark," Taemin whispered. 3, 2, 1, mark. The door burst open. Taemin went left, Minho went right. 5 pirates, 5 shots in less than 2 seconds. Perfect coordination. Perfect accuracy. The hostages were not even grazed. The room fell silent except for the crying of frightened children. "Hostages secure," Taemin reported into his comm. "Bay is clear. Begin evacuation." In the command center of the stalwart Resolution, Admiral Cressix and Lieutenant Yuna watched the mission feeds. Yuna's hands were shaking with relief. The Admiral's expression was thoughtful. "Impressive," the Admiral said quietly. "Very impressive indeed." The hostages were evacuated safely. The squad returned to the ship. Medical teams treated injuries. Commander Thess would recover fully with proper care. In the squad bay, Lyrix approached Taemin. She was still processing what she had witnessed. "That was not normal combat," she said. "That was something else. Something instinctive, like watching a predator hunt." Taemin looked uncomfortable. "Humans evolved as hunters," he said quietly. "We are adapted for violence in ways most species are not. But that does not define us. We choose what we do with these abilities." "You chose to save innocent lives," Lyrix said. "That is what matters. Thank you for teaching me that lesson." Minho sat with his back against the wall, hands shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. Taking lives, even in defense of innocence, was not easy. He kept seeing the pirates' faces. Taemin sat beside him. First time is always hard, Taman said. Does it get easier? Minho asked. I do not know. This was my first time too. They sat together in silence, two humans far from home processing what they had done. Lieutenant Yuna found them there an hour later. She sat down without a word, just being present. Sometimes that was what soldiers needed most. Back at the academy, news of the successful rescue spread quickly. The human cadets were celebrated as heroes. Commander Thess personally recommended both for commendation, but not everyone was PL. The rescue mission made galactic news. Footage of the operation played across 1,000 worlds. The human cadets were no longer unknown quantities. They were heroes proven in actual combat. But with fame came complications. At the academy, Taman and Minho could not walk anywhere without being stopped. Cadets wanted autographs, photos, advice. Some species saw them as inspirations. Others viewed them with suspicion or jealousy. The attention was overwhelming. I just want things to go back to normal, Taman said to Horvath during lunch. Normal ended the day you lifted that weight plate, Horvath replied. You are symbols now, not just cadets. That is the price of being exceptional. 3 days after the rescue, a diplomatic ship arrived at the academy. It bore the markings of the Cressian Dominion, the Union rival power. The ship requested permission to observe academy operations, citing mutual defense interests. The Union Council approved the request. Refusing would appear hostile, but Lieutenant Yuna did not like it. The Dominion never does anything without ulterior motives, she warned Taman and Minho. Be careful what you say around their observers. Every word will be analyzed. The lead observer was Envoy Rathek, a tall being with silver skin and calculating eyes. He attended training sessions, took detailed notes, and asked many questions. He was particularly interested in the human cadets. Fascinating species, humans, Rathek said to Taman after a training exercise, so naturally suited for combat. Tell me, how many humans could Earth provide for military service if needed? I am just a cadet, sir, Taman replied carefully. I do not know those details. Of course, Rathek smiled. I am just curious about your remarkable world. Earth sounds like quite the place. That evening, Envoy Rathek requested a private meeting with Taman. Lieutenant Yuna advised against it, but refusing would look suspicious. Taman agreed to meet, but with Yuna monitoring remotely. They met in a neutral conference room. Rathek offered Taman a seat and dispensed with pleasantries quickly. Let me be direct, Rathek said. The Dominion believes the Galactic Union is not treating Earth fairly. You are new members, yet you are already being sent into combat. Your capabilities are being exploited. We volunteered for that mission, Taman said. Did you? Or were you selected precisely because you are human, and the Union wanted to test your combat effectiveness? Rathek leaned forward. The Dominion offers a different arrangement. We treat our members as true equals from day one. Earth would have voting rights immediately. No probationary period. No exploitation. The Union accepted humanity when we were unknown, Taman replied. They invested in our development without demanding immediate returns. That kind of trust matters. Rathek studied him for a long moment. You are loyal to the Union, I respect that. But loyalty should work both ways. The galaxy is more dangerous than naive humans realize. When conflicts escalate, and they will, the Union will use humanity as their shock troops. Your people will die protecting worlds that barely acknowledge your existence. There was an edge to his voice now, a subtle threat. Is that a warning? Taman asked. Call it friendly advice, Rathek said. Earth is choosing its future right now. Choose wisely. The door burst open. Minho entered, all casual energy, but his eyes were hard. Sorry to interrupt, Minho said cheerfully. Taman, we have that thing. You know, the urgent thing. It was an obvious excuse, but Taman took it gratefully. They left together, leaving Envoy Rathek alone with his thoughts. Outside, Minho dropped the friendly act. Yuna was monitoring. She sent me when things got threatening. That guy is dangerous. He was trying to recruit Earth to the Dominion, Taman said. And probably threatened us when that did not work, Minho finished. This is bigger than we thought. Emergency meetings were called. Admiral Kressik's Lieutenant Yuna, Colonel Daehyun, who arrived from the Earth outpost, and several Union Council members gathered in secure conference. Also present was Ambassador Hana Shin, Earth primary representative to the Galactic Union. She was a sharp woman in her 50s with keen political instincts. The Dominion is making similar approaches to other newly Integrated species, Ambassador Shin reported. They successfully turned 2 already. They see humanity as their most valuable potential acquisition. What are they offering? Admiral Cressix asked. Everything, Shin replied. Technology transfers, favorable trade agreements, immediate full membership status, and most importantly, promises that human soldiers would not be deployed as frontline troops. They are lying, of course, Colonel Dahyun said. The moment they have us, humans would be exactly what they use for dangerous operations. But the offer sounds good to people who do not understand politics. Earth position remains clear, Ambassador Shin stated firmly. We are committed to the Union, but I will not pretend there are not voices back home asking why we should risk our people for the Union when we barely have representation. The room fell quiet. That was the real problem. Earth was contributing more and more, but still had limited voice in Union decisions. What does Earth need? Admiral Cressix asked directly. Ambassador Shin did not hesitate. Accelerated integration. More humans in leadership positions. Direct representation on military planning committees. And most importantly, Earth becoming a full voting member of the Council within 5 years instead of the standard 25. That is unprecedented, one Council member objected. So is humanity combat effectiveness, Ambassador Shin countered. We proved ourselves at the Academy. We proved ourselves in actual combat. We have earned faster integration. The debate continued for hours. Finally, a proposal was drafted and scheduled for full Council vote. Back at the Academy, life continued, but tension was thick. Everyone knew something big was happening politically. The Dominion observers watched everything with calculating eyes. Taemin felt the weight of it all pressing down. He had joined the Academy to learn and serve, not to become a political chess piece. He confided in Lyrics during a quiet moment. I just wanted to be a regular cadet, he said. Do my training, graduate, serve. Now everything I do has political implications. Being exceptional comes with responsibilities, Lyrics said. She understood better than most. As the top cadet of her species, she had faced similar pressures. You represent more than yourself. That is burden and honor both. Does it ever get easier? Taemin asked. No, she admitted. But you learn to carry it. And you are not alone. You have friends now. Let us help carry the burden. Minho dealt with pressure differently. He joked more, trained harder, and never showed weakness in public. But Taemin noticed the signs. The restless pacing, the difficulty sleeping, the letters home to family that went unanswered because of communication delays. One night Minho opened up. My younger siblings want to join the space program because of me, he said quietly. They see the news coverage and think it is all glory and adventure. They do not see the nightmares. The pressure, the weight of representing an entire species. You want to tell them the truth? Taemin asked. I want to, Minho said, but I also do not want to crush their dreams. Maybe they will handle it better than I am handling it. You are handling it fine, Taemin assured him. We both are. Barely, but fine. They shared a tired laugh. Horvath watched his human friends struggle with their new roles. As someone whose species had been in the Union for centuries, he offered perspective. Most species took hundreds of years to find their place in the galactic community, he told them. Humans are trying to do it in decades. The growing pains are inevitable, but I have witnessed human resilience firsthand. You will adapt. You always do. The Union Council vote approached. The proposal would accelerate Earth integration, but also require concrete commitment from humanity. Earth would need to contribute a full battalion of troops to the Defense Force within 6 months. They would be deployed to a contested border region where Dominion forces had been testing Union resolve. It was exactly what the Dominion wanted, forcing Earth to choose sides definitively, making human commitment visible and undeniable. Ambassador Shin addressed the Council personally. Her speech was broadcast across Union space, including to Earth. Humanity did not come to the stars to hide, she said. We came to contribute, to build a better galaxy alongside our fellow species. Yes, we are new. Yes, we are still learning, but we have proven our value. We ask only to be treated as genuine partners in this great endeavor. The Dominion offers us immediate benefits without sacrifice. The Union offers us gradual integration earned through service. We choose the Union because partnership built on trust is stronger than deals built on convenience. We will provide the requested battalion. We will deploy where needed. We will prove that humanity word means something. All we ask in return is recognition of our commitment and acceleration of our path to full membership. The Council voted. The measure passed with modifications. Earth would be fast-tracked for full membership. The timeline was reduced from 25 years to 7 years, with provisions for further acceleration based on continued contributions. It was not everything Earth wanted, but it was substantial progress. More importantly, it was respect earned through action. The Dominion observers departed the next day. Envoy Rathek left without fanfare, but his final words to Admiral Cressix were pointed. The Union has made its choice. We have made ours.